Yes, I'm doing a double-decker video. I'm covering both the Colorado game and the Utah game in this one. So, Bruins lose 4-1 to the Colorado Avalanche, and then Bruins lose 3-2 to the Utah Mammoth. Welcome back down into the den, everybody. I did not expect the Bruins to go 0-3 on the road stretch. I expected them to win one of these games. We really thought that this team was going to be good after playing teams like Chicago and Buffalo. I think it's safe to say that this team is not good. The goaltending? Phenomenal. Honestly. Jeremy Swayman and Joonas Korpisalo would be a top 5 goaltending duo in the league if the rest of the team in front of them could actually do something. Casey Mittelstadt, through these 2 games, and really through the other 23 games that he has played with the Boston Bruins prior to these 2. Casey Mittelstadt may genuinely be the worst puck possessor that I have covered on Into the Den. He is so unbelievably prone to just giving up the puck. And it resulted in a really frustrating goal from Nathan MacKinnon in the Colorado game. Now, Pastrnak had a pretty bad couple of games prior to tonight against Utah. He did bounce back a little bit and score 2 goals. But I want to cover these games as a collective, not just bounce back and forth between one or the other. The defense is so frustrating. Why is Jordan Harris on our penalty kill? Why is Charlie McAvoy on our power play? Why is Nikita Zadorov not really doing anything? It kind of feels like the snottiness that this team was supposed to have by bringing in Jeannot and Eyssimont, it isn't really showing through. And honestly, I feel like it should have been a little bit sooner than this game against Utah for the Bruins to get a fighting major. And Kastelic just absolutely going to town on Liam O'Brien. Amazing. Amazing. I love that. I love that this team still knows how to fight. But this goaltender duo, they're doing too much for this defense to be as passive as it is. Like, honestly, I would be shaking these guys in the locker room, being like, what am I supposed to do for you to help me? And it's not really just the defense, it's also the offense. Casey Mittelstadt, I've already said, worst puck possessor I've ever covered on Into the Den. I do not want Casey Mittelstadt on my team anymore. I knew when we traded for him in the Charlie Coyle trade to Colorado that the true piece de resistance was Will Zellers. And that Mittelstadt was just a warm body that this team would have on the third line to make the money work. I hate it. I really, really do not like it. Casey Mittelstadt's offensive zone metrics are not good enough to make up for his terrible, terrible puck possession, his terrible defense. Casey Mittelstadt does not fit the Boston Bruins scheme, and they should be looking to trade him. If you're retooling, congratulations, you've found a tool that doesn't work. And yet, you have him on contract for the next 2 years. Find someone to take on that contract. Casey Mittelstadt is not worth almost $6 million a year. Charlie Coyle was barely worth $5.5. Casey Mittelstadt is worse than him, and you're paying $500,000 more than you were paying Charlie Coyle. Now, in terms of other players, Geekie has been just falling off of a precipice. And honestly, I feel like a good chunk of Geekie's fall off is predictable. If for no other reason than shooting at 20% is not sustainable. Am I happy that Geekie got us 30 goals in the season? Yes, absolutely. Is he going to continue that production? Probably not. And the 6x5 that he was given was absolutely an overpayment. And I think, honestly, might be a contract that you need to drop at some point. Maybe not now. Maybe not next year. Sometime in the future. You gotta figure out what you want to do with that contract. Because this team is going to have a bunch of players come up through it. Within the next 2 or 3 years, This team is going to have James Hagens. This team is going to have Fabian Lysell. This team is going to have Fraser Minten. This team is going to have Dean Letourneau. This team is going to have Will Zellers. This team is going to have William Moore. This team is going to have Matt Poitras. This team is going to have so many crucial game determinative players on their roster that you can no longer put your faith into someone who shot at an unsustainable rate 3 years ago on your top line. And we're already seeing that. In the Utah game, they were putting Zach on the top line with Pasternak. How do you think Geekie is going to fare when you got guys like Hagens coming up near the end of the season? You got guys like Letourneau probably coming up near the end of the season. And before you guys get on my case about Letourneau being not good, the dude's scoring at a point per game pace to start the season. And if you're frustrated about his performance last year, he was playing last year almost entirely with a broken hand. Give Letourneau credit where credit is due. He has been much better than what he has shown off. The way I see the deadline going, because I'm already at a point where I'm looking ahead to the end of the season. You trade off Mittelstadt for what the hell ever you can get for him. You bring up Hagens for the last however many games that are still in the season if BC doesn't make it. Who knows? BC is honestly kind of on a tear, although losing to Michigan State... How do you lose to Michigan State, dude? Look, I know Michigan State is good, but come on, they're Hockey East. You can do this. So, Mittelstadt gets shipped off, Hagens gets brought up, and that's not gonna affect Geekie. That's gonna affect Minten, that's gonna affect everybody up the gut. And Geekie is not a guy that can play up the gut. He can play center in a pinch. He's not good at it. And I think we might need to reckon with the fact that we got a fluke season out of Geekie. And yeah, 30 goals is fun. 30 goals is a really good scoring season. That's not what he is on the regular. As for the rest of this team, Khusnutdinov getting time on the second line in the Utah game was interesting. It wasn't great, but it was interesting. Mostly because Khusnutdinov may be one of the fastest players on the Bruins roster. And so I think it is important to have a player with that sort of speed be on a line that is usually meant to generate speed. So I don't mind him being on the second line. I don't mind mixing things up, seeing what sticks. We had one shot on goal through the entire second period of the Colorado game. We had so many chances against Vitek Vanacek in the Utah game, and almost all of it was for naught. Maybe they are supposed to be this bad. Maybe we are supposed to be deep in the tank and battling it out with San Jose, Chicago, Buffalo, and other bottom dwellers for the chance of getting the cutoff. If you're gonna do that, bring some of the young guys up. Bring some of the young guys up. There are so many players in the AHL that the Bruins have. Blumel, Lysell, freaking Patrick Brown is scoring at above a point per game pace in the A. Patrick fucking Brown. And you're going to tell me that nobody on the Bruins roster is worth shifting around to accommodate one of those players? Stop playing with me. And that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Take care.